Hi everyone, I'm Dee from Urban Cachet, and this week I have a very special guest. I have Rosemary Eribe from Eribe Knitwear, all the way from the borders in Scotland, and we're going to talk all things feral and colour, and really excited about having her here. So we're going to start with telling us a story about how the knitwear actually comes to the design aspect, how they get the ideas together and where it comes from. So
Fairisle originated from the small island in the north of Scotland, and our business as well, we used to have 240 hand knitters, and that's why it's been a natural progression to put these hand knitted designs onto machines. So as designers, we have to look at how people live. And you can see, although this looks like 100% real Shetland, we've actually found a small spinner in the Yorkshire Dales in the north of England, which is also a textile area in England. And we found a yarn that looks very much like the 100% real Shetland, but it's lighter and it's actually, believe it or not, softer. So some of you might find that this feels a little bit too itchy, but actually with time you'll find it'll get much softer as you wear it and as you wash it, and it's a different kind of wear. So Shetland sheep is a harsher, thicker yarn. It's fabulous yarn, but it's just not quite right for our way of life when we're busy in cars and homes and the heat that we have. So we've taken the hand knitted element that we used to do, and we've kept the pattern of the Fairisle, but we've chosen our own Fairisle patterns, and we've put it together to make it look like an authentic Shetland jumper, but with the modern design and added colour. And then if I can explain this, these ones here, this is spun in Scotland from a cashmere producer, and the merino wool is actually each soft. Yarn is like a thinner micron, so it feels much softer.
Very soft, yeah.
And
lovely.
This body shape is slightly longer, and I find it quite a live-in jumper. Now it actually comes with a little comb, because we found when we do our wear test that it does pill, but because of the pattern you don't really see the pilling, and I just find that after a while it just goes away, and then once it's gone, it's gone.
I always say to people, clean your knitwear. Like it's not like denim, you have to look after it, and if any pilling comes up, give it a clean, give it a hand wash, wear it, and then eventually the pilling will settle down. The
and
short
you just
fibers
pull
come
it off.
Yeah.
And there is this little useful comb that you can do it, and if you're waiting for a bus or waiting for someone, you can just quickly do it.
But in your spare time, everyone, you can just get the pilling comb out. Why not?
But it does go away with time. So and then you've got this Fairisle. I don't know if you want me to quickly
please.
explain.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then I think we'll explain about the beautiful colours and where your ideas come from, the colours.
So the original hand knitted Fairisle, it just had one very simple pattern round here. It was knitted on the round, and again it was knitted in Shetland. So we thought we wanted something finer and thinner, and then I added more of the tweed pattern in. We've got the tweed of the Scottish here. We've got our little hallmark of the little stripe here, which is a bit. We've got the extra length on the cuff, so that if it's
very
cold.
interesting. It's hard to see sometimes from back, but just everyone can see that. It's beautiful.
And then the cuff makes your hands warm if it's cold, or if you've got longer arms. And then this is like a little necklace, and this is like a little bracelet here.
And so the colours, when you're working on the colours, where do you get a lot of your inspiration?
So one year we might work from nature.
Yes.
And we just look at all these incredible flowers and colours, and it makes you look at leaves, and it makes you look at flowers, and sometimes the odd combinations that you get.
Yes.
So even the one that I'm wearing, where you've got the orange and the pink, it's quite an unusual combination. But actually when you look at nature, you think, oh, that is quite an unusual clash of colour, and it works.
So true.
Yeah, and then
really
often we use like art. So I found this colourway from an old, it's called Old Rose.
Yes.
because I found this beautiful ancient botanical sketch.
Oh.
Do you know those old
Yeah,
sketches?
yes,
And it was
beautiful.
like of a rose, and you can really see the sort of old-fashioned,
Yes,
romantic
absolutely can.
colours of that.
Yeah, so they're just beautiful, amazing. And then with the making of these, and on average, from when we could go all the way back to when the yarn is first done. But let's start. You have your yarn. By the way, how many colours are you looking at in one of these garments?
So usually it's about 8 colours.
Mm-hmm.
We have done things where we've had 13 colours,
Wow.
but that's very unusual.
Right. Yeah.
And getting 13 colours or 8 colours or 9 colours together,
Wow.
it's quite a blend. And we spend hours. First of all, we might do get the sketch or the inspiration, and then we'll put the yarns together, and then we might put it on a CAD,
Right.
and then we actually knit swatches.
Mm.
Because somehow on the CAD, on the computer, it'll look absolutely beautiful,
Mm.
but then when you knit it, it's not quite right.
Yes.
Re-knit it again. So I've got boxes of knitted swatches that we look at, and we might just change this colour and re-knit it again to get the colour.
Wow.
And
Yep.
then we'll put it on the wall, and then I'm looking at different skin tones.
Mhm.
So we try to make the collection ready for everybody.
Yep.
Because everybody has a different skin, eye, hair, and it's quite surprising how something I think, oh, that's not a nice colourway, and then someone will put it on and I went, wow, you made that colourway beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the
Well, I see that
people.
on people all the time. I
It's
say,
it's
try.
the people
Yeah.
that make the colourway,
Yeah,
not the
absolutely.
jumper.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've got that all happening, and so you're ready, so then it's got to be set up on a knitting machine. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
then
for-
you have that you've got a sort of sequence of how it's knitted.
Yeah.
And this particular garment, we used to have to hand knit this garment on a machine. For originally it was hand knitted with one of our hand knitters, but thicker. But we wanted to go thinner, so then we had the hand machines, because you can see it's got all the shaping. And the original garment was the one with all the different patterning. And I went and spoke with Japanese machine manufacturer and German manufacturers. And they said it's impossible. You can't put that on a machine. Far too many colours,
Right.
far too many patterns, absolutely impossible. And they wrote it off. And I needed to put this onto a machine because it was just getting too expensive. It was either we drop the design
Yeah.
or I find a way. So I went on to LinkedIn and I put a little advert and said, look, I'm looking for a manufacturer that could help us. And I think it was 2 companies got in touch, and one of them was a lady who didn't even speak English. And she had her son do all the translation, and she wrote to me, and she had actually a very tiny company with 15 women, and they mostly did linking. And linking is where you do all the putting the garments together. You know, it's quite a trained skill. And she then had bought a machine herself, and she had taught herself how to do programming.
Wow.
Which is the complicated. So a designer is only as good as your technician, as your programmer. You can be a most fantastic designer, but if you don't have that person who can do the programming and the technical side, you lose your skill.
Yeah.
So it is all about working together.
Yeah.
And
In a
equally, I feel the same about working with you.
Yes.
Because you make our garments alive.
Yes.
So it's about working together.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
she then, I sent her this, and she, with her magic, put it on a machine, and nobody could believe it. So she's very clever. So these garments are actually made in Bulgaria, and it's only because, and she only knits for us, and it's a family company. Her son, her daughter, and her husband is the babysitter at home for the grandchildren.
Wow.
So it's a team, it's a
Wow.
small company, team effort.
And do they also, because these garments have a beautiful satin ribbon, grosgrain ribbon down the front, and of course the buttons. So is that done there as well?
Yes, all hand, cut
Yeah.
and linked, and it is a huge skill.
Yes.
You're having to catch every single loop when you're putting them together.
I'll just show everyone just quickly just the beautiful finishes on these garments. This is what I'm talking about, the beautiful ribbon down there. and the buttons. Yeah,
So it's a soft yarn, it's lightweight, it should last a long time, you don't need to wash it often, and that is part of the sustainability. And if I have had a few people email to say that their husband put it in the washing machine and it shrunk really small, and they've sent us the most beautiful like little houses or little toys or little things that they've made from the jumper, because you can literally cut it. So don't throw them away. You can put it in the compost heap. You could just have to take the ribbon off, because
Yeah.
the ribbon won't probably
break down,
break down as quick.
Yeah.
But you can put it in your compost heap, and then your next generation of plants.
Yeah,
will come.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed it. So appreciate you coming to visit us here, and hope you really enjoy your stay in Australia.
Oh, definitely.
And thank you everyone for watching, and we see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.